Hey, what's up you guys, it's Joey and welcome back to my channel. So as I was going through my list of video ideas, I really wasn't vibing with anything. So of course I took to my bed, which is where I get a lot of my good ideas. Well, that and the toilet. And as I was laying in my bed, I saw that the candles on my altar had been like knocked or shifted off of the wood pieces that I had them sitting on. So as I got up to fix them, I was like, oh my gosh, candle magic, let's talk about candle magic. Candles are a steadfast, tried and true method of witchcraft. They represent the element of fire, so they're great for manifestation that needs to be done quickly. Actually, I was doing some research for this video and Llewellyn.com, like the witchcraft of Llewellyn, said that there was traces of candle-like apparatuses and candle holder-like apparatuses traced back to the 4th century BCE. Now, I don't really know what BCE means, but I know that it was a really long time ago, and it's when the Egyptians were still around. Candles are a huge part of people's everyday lives. People burn candles like crazy. There are businesses that are just literally thriving off of candles. And this is another reason that candle magic is so popular, is because A, candles are popular, and B, it's a really easy way to conceal your craft. If you're a closet witch, it is a great way to get your manifestations out there and get your magic really working. Look out for tips for closet witches coming really soon, because I have a lot of good tried and true tricks. Something that I really want to achieve on this channel is kind of to discuss how common witchcraft actually is, whether you know you're doing it or not, and how you can then further your practice once you realize that you can be doing witchcraft too. So the symbol of the candle is said to be a symbol that's a beacon of light to good spirits and good energies. If you think about it, lighthouses, they're a beacon in the dark. That's kind of what candles are said to serve as. I don't know where you're from, but down here in Pennsylvania, people always have candles in their window, like electric candles in their window. And it's funny because whenever I see that, I know that it stems from witchcraft. It's to A, ward off evil spirits, and also to invite the good ones. In the craft, I know that candles are such a big part of so many people's practices. And in mine, they're a huge part. Like, you need money? Candle. You need a lover? Candle. You need a promotion? Candle. You need some chapstick? Candle. No, I'm just kidding. Don't use candle wax as chapstick. That would probably not turn out well. And there are a ton of different ways to use candles in your practice. You can use like 7-day candles, taper candles, a bunch of different types of candles. And candles don't have to be a method of manifestation. Candles can just be like a vibration changer. They really do set the mood. A lot of people burn candles while they're in the bath. For me, I burn 2 candles every day just to kind of invoke good vibes. And they're sitting on my altar and I always light them. One of my favorite YouTubers in the community, her name's Olivia. She's the Witch of Wonderlust here on YouTube. She did a video about candles and it's about an hour long with Mystic Dylan. They talk a lot about the nitty-gritty of all of it, of every type of candle, but I really wanted to kind of simplify it for those who are just starting out. Their video will be linked down below, and I would definitely give it a watch if I were you. Sympathetic magic is magic that is used to symbolize a person, place, or thing. Meaning that in a spell, a candle would represent something or someone or some place, and by manipulating these candles, you are also energetically manipulating the person or thing that they represent. So for example, if you're doing a candle working for the mental health and mental clarity of Johnny Appleseed, the candle would represent the desired effect, the desired achievement of the mental state. So the candle that represents the person or the person that the spell is being cast for, that actually has a term. It's called the petitioner's candle. And I want to do a whole video on petitions because they are probably the most pivotal magical tool that I have used in my practice to date. And once the spell is underway, the burning candle, the wax melting, is symbolizing the intention being released and starting to manifest. Now, there are many different types of candles that you can use in your craft. The main one that I like to use is called a 7-day candle, and typically they're encased in glass. You can get them in all kinds of colors. I prefer these because they're the least messy. A lot of people prefer candles that you can carve. So there are a ton of different types of candles. I have these, I think these are called pillar candles, and there's different names for all of them. So again, just do your research, and that's probably the best way to figure out what kind of candle you would want to work with. I have these kind of candles. They're a little bit bigger than a birthday candle. These are called chime candles, and these are great for quick spells or minute spells. And then you also have tea light candles, which are these little ones kind of encased in tin. And then also you can actually make your own candles. This is actually a candle that the Moon Box sent me, and it's a beeswax candle, but this is a beeswax sheet that's rolled with a wick. You can make your own even. And again, candles are great because they deplete as they're being used. So as you're seeing the candle burn down, it's great for visualizing your intent being released in the wax that's burnt. So how do you do candle magic? Well, the first thing to consider is color. So to a lot of people, color is vital. It's kind of the main course of the spell. However, for people like myself, I kind of think color is something that adds to the spell, but again, the most important thing in your working is your intention. There are a ton of websites out there and a ton of YouTube videos out there that will lay out color correspondences, but because I don't use them, I don't feel comfortable relaying them, but the basics are kind of like green for money, pink for love, red for passion and sex, black for banishing. I think part of the reason that color isn't so important to me is because it's way more accessible to get just white candles from the dollar store or white candles from Walmart than tiny chime candles and that kind of thing. Now, once you have your candle picked, it is imperative, big word, to dress your candle. Now, there are a ton of different ways to dress a candle and all of the practices, but there's a pretty common method that we're going to go over today. One of the first things that I do to a candle is inscribe it. So if you're working with a wax candle, you can do this by grabbing an X-Acto knife or a pencil or even a pen, or just a sharp tool or even your fingernail to inscribe symbols, runes, sigils, words, petitions into the sides of this candle to infuse your intent. If you're working with a glass candle, I like to grab a Sharpie and kind of just go to town, writing all around the glass of it and up and down. I've seen people use oil pastels and eyeliner. If you are still a closeted witch, you can write all of these symbols on a piece of paper and simply put it under the glass candle. Or if you're working with a wax candle, you can kind of anchor it to something and put the piece of paper under the anchor point. So once you have it inscribed, it's important to dress the candle. What I like to do is to anoint the candle. I feel like anointing it kind of seals in the sigils and the words that I've written. You can anoint your candle in any kind of way that you choose. Basically, what you're going to do is put some oil in your hands, get the oil activated, and rub it all up and down the candle. It is said that if you dress from the bottom to the top, that is pushing things away from you, and if you dress from the top to the bottom, that's pulling things in. And you can anoint candles with pretty much anything. I like to use homemade oils, like I have a protection oil, a goddess oil, psychic oil, anointing oil. You can anoint it with moon water, with wine, with I don't know, even your own spit for your own essence. Pretty much anything that you want. Just again, do your research on the attributes of each thing that you're dressing with. So after we anoint the candle, we can pack it with herbs or crystals. So I know herbs get kind of a bad rap because they're not as easily as accessible as, say, a crystal, or, you know, herbs are just more confusing. I know a lot of people are really iffy about herbs. So again, the main thing is just your intention. Really all you need to do is just kind of write on the side what you want to write, the symbols that kind of correspond with the working. I know some people who do completely without herbs or completely without crystals. So just shove your intention right into that and slap that sucker on your altar and light it. So if you're using a bare wax candle, like a taper candle, basically anything but the 7-day candles that have glass around them, what you can do is kind of crush up your herbs in a mortar and pestle and line them up and kind of roll it in the herbs once they're blessed and activated. And this will kind of get the herbs to stick to the side of the candle. If you're using a glass candle, you can kind of take a pencil or I actually have used a metal straw before that you kind of have like an extra metal straw. You could even use like a wall screw and just twist it in there and twist it out. Really up to you, just trying to kind of make a hole. And you can pack your herbs down into that canal, so to speak, and that is also dressing your candle. Another method, if you're not comfortable with putting herbs around flames, because they will kind of catch fire briefly, and they do kind of stink sometimes. I see it more in hoodoo magic, but you can use a plate and anchor the candle to the plate and put the herbs around the candle. Now again, you're going to want to anchor the candle in something that's fire safe, maybe on an elevated candlestick, in a bowl of sand, and you can do it that way. But whenever I've finished finish my candle, I like to sit with it for a minute and kind of add the finishing touches of visualization. The first thing I like to visualize is the outcome of the spell. Put that intent in there so that it knows exactly what you want. Then I like to kind of banish away all negative energy and any future negative energy that could come, including my own. I find that including my own negative energy really helps whenever I have self-doubts about myself or about the spell. So how long do you light the candle for? In my practice, I light the candle until it completely burns out, and I kind of think that's a general consensus. I go with my intuition. I don't work with numerology, and you can if you like, but typically I just light it until it burns out. I light it every time I'm in the room and am able to kind of babysit it. Sometimes it just feels right to light a candle for 3 days, and that doesn't mean 3 days in a row. That means like I burn it 1/3 of the way one day, 1/3 of the way the next, and 1/3 of the way the following day. Sometimes 3 days feels right, and then sometimes my spirit guides will step in and kind of say maybe 4 days, or maybe just burn it all at once. It is really, really personal on how long you burn your candle, and again, you're going to have to do your research. Okay, so now your candle is burnt. How do you get rid of the candle? There are proper ways to dispose of the candle. You don't want to treat your workings just like a piece of garbage, because that's insulting to the energies, spirits, guides, ancestors, whatever that worked in the spell. Not only that, it also depends on the intent of the spell and how long you wanted it to kind of play out. Whenever you are trying to manifest something for yourself, a good way to get rid of it is burying it. So is it burying or burying? So if you want something to come into your life, a good way to kind of get that to manifest is bury it right outside your doorstep, or as close to your doorstep as you can. If you want it kind of to not manifest in your life, bury it as far away from your home as you can. A good way to get rid of something that is kind of harmful, like a jinx, a hex, a curse, is to burn it. Glass is a little tricky because it kind of explodes in fire. Don't do that. Bad idea. Been there, done that. But if you have a stub of a candle that's like this big and you want to get rid of it, start a bonfire or start a fire with your family and kind of throw in the remains of your spells to get rid of them, because nothing will be left of them whenever the fire is done. Now, leaving remains somewhere is really, really important actually in the spell, and you can leave it on the front porch of someone who, you know, you're trying to do work for, or so you can leave it at a busy intersection to kind of bring the energy towards their house. If they don't know that you're doing the spell for them, this is probably the most discreet way, or you can just set it on their front porch with their permission. So the general rule of thumb is that if you want something to come to you, keep it close to you. So bury it in your backyard or keep it under your bed or something. If you want it away from you, bury it far, far away or somewhere that the energy will be taken away by something. So a river, a creek, a railroad track, an intersection, that kind of thing. That's it for this video. I just wanted to kind of go over the candle magic because that's such a vital part of what we do as witches. If you would like to see actual candle workings, please comment down below. You know, I don't like doing workings online like that, but I can kind of give you like a general template to work with. Anyways, guys, my name is Joey. I love you so much. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay happy, hippies.